And Dr. Ingram always told me, because I'd ask him, like, what do we do here?
Yeah.
Especially in the early years. And he's like, royal jelly, royal jelly. Take your vitamins. And Purely Pack would be another one that's, if you're not sure what to take at all, and you don't know where you need to start, that's everything in a nutshell. So that's daily packets, all the vitamins, all your essential fatty acids, antioxidants in one convenient daily packet.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of the Healthy Habit Podcast. We have a good friend of ours on today, the Director of Education at North American Herb and Spice, an Illinois company. We're from the East Coast. We're proud partners with this incredible company, North American Herb and Spice. And Stephen Harkins has been with the company for going on 7 years now, and we've been doing radio together for probably over a year now, or at least close to a year for sure at this point. But we've been having North American Herb and Spice on the radio even before we transitioned here to podcast on Healthy Habit Radio for years, 2, 3, 4 years plus. So Stephen Harkins, welcome to your first episode here with us on the podcast, my friend.
Thank you. It feels good to be here. I'm excited for the new format for you guys, and I think you're going to do really well with it this year. And I'm excited to be in one of the first episodes with you.
We're excited to have you on, my friend. First of all, since this is the first North American Herb and Spice episode on YouTube, Spotify, etc., give us a little, maybe 2-3 minutes about the company, why you chose to stay with them for 7 years, and tell us about it.
Sure. Yeah. I think for me, it comes down to living a purpose-driven life, finding meaning in your work. And like most people, I started out, after college, looking for a good company to work for. I spent some time at FedEx and learned the shipping industry and dealt in that sphere for quite a while. And the company itself was founded 30 years ago by Miss Judy Gray. And this woman she's an amazing woman, but she's also a family member. She's my great aunt. She's my grandmother's sister. And for that reason, I've been aware of what she's been doing. She's been explaining it to me over the years. She's been planting little seeds, teaching me how to read ingredients on the back of labels and warning me about certain things. And then I got a little older and I started to go on my own health journey organically, and it just converged about 7 years ago, back where I just felt like I wanted to do something else to really help people more than just shipping packages. I see that there's a health crisis going on, and I like what she's doing because what she's doing is different than a lot of other supplement companies out there in terms of purity, sourcing, making sure to keep the ingredients whole, keep the plants whole, don't remove anything or, isolate one compound and ignore the rest. Extraction, not using the petrochemical solvents that are common in the industry, ingredients formulation, staying clear of your titanium dioxide, your magnesium stearate, your fillers, your agents that don't have nutrition, vitamins, making sure that they're really from nature as it's been for thousands of years for the human body, avoiding the synthetics. So those were things that attracted me a lot. And then I came in and I learned so much. I got exposed to my aunt and Dr. Ingram's teachings, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else at this point because we've talked to people who have real situations going on and we've seen them helped. And to me, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I didn't know that it's in the family, that Judy is one of your family members. That's really cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'll just introduce it now, but we'll reiterate it here towards the end of this show that Steven's coming to town in February, right? Next month. You'll be here and we'll get to meet you in person, first time. And this is actually our first time seeing each other on video too, which is pretty cool. So, and we have a lot of listeners to Healthy Habit Radio who are familiar with you and with the company. So tell us a little bit about that event in February. Will you be given any demos or samples, or how long will you be there, etc.?
Yes, so the plan is for February 4th. which is a Saturday afternoon. So we're looking at coming in. The seminar will actually start at 1 o'clock. I'll be in at 12, and so it'll be 1 to 2 the seminar with Q&A. So bring your questions, and then after that, I'll be hanging out, and we can discuss further if you have any particular health goals or situations that we can kind of help you fill in gaps for. I'll be around for that. And yeah, so if you're free, February 4th, Saturday afternoon, come on out, come to Healthy Habit, and start the year out right. We're going to be talking about immune support as a focus, and then we'll talk about some of the things I just alluded to, where how to determine a quality supplement from the manufacturer's inside scoop.
We're literally still dealing with cold and flu, and of course, still COVID. It's still creeping up. People are still catching it, obviously not as frequently and as intensely as 2020 March through December. Literally today, I had a patient who came down with the flu. Like, it's pretty severe. So what should be on our radar when we think about the flu? I know we've talked in the past about black seed and like purely zinc, purely C. So what's really on your radar for cold and flu support, Stephen? And I'm sure you might even mention some of this in February 4th when you come down. So this will be a good preface.
Yes, so I guess our general approach and my personal approach is don't be afraid. Don't fear, don't worry. These things come about every season. It's some virus or another floating around. It's nothing new. We've had this for hundreds of years. Humans are still here. We're still making it happen. So be proactive. That's the first thing I could tell you. Nobody wants to get sick in the first place. Have your game plan. Don't just wing it. This is your body. So as you alluded to, spices such as black seed and oregano, those are the top two. I mean, if you do nothing else, keep that in a regimen, keep that in a weekly routine in your life. You've got a great immune system right now. You want to keep it that way. Whether it's the black seed or the oregano oils or soft gels, even 1 or 2 a day, every other day. So that's the first aspect, is making sure you have that herbal supplementation game plan. So we have oregano P73. We've had it for 30 years, and that's the number one thing we believe in. The other one is the nutrient side of things, the nutrient supplementation. So if you get low in vitamin D, if you get low in vitamin A or vitamin C or mineral zinc, if you get low in these things, you're just open for all kinds of illness. Vitamin E would be in there as well. So knowing that, what is your game plan to make sure you're getting your nutrients from whole foods? Are you getting enough? If you start to feel more tired, if you start to feel fatigued, if you already kind of feel like you're susceptible to an illness, I think fatigue is probably one of the fatigue and poor mood and like aches. That's kind of the first symptom of something's not right. Your body's trying to tell you need to go get more nutrition. What you could do is you could take something like our Purely Zinc, for example, which is it's 7 different minerals from Austrian pumpkin seeds, including magnesium, which is huge for so many reasons, good for energy as well, but also has a huge amount of zinc, which is critical to the immune system, to the hormonal system. And then also vitamin C, 300% from a real source. Don't underestimate that, because your immune system is, of course, like the military of the body, right? And so this military needs to be armed and ready for battle at any time. And
Sure.
Your white blood cells and your macrophages, and you have these different parts of the military. But if you're not getting enough vitamin A, for example, your white blood cells have a harder time targeting those rogue cells out there that are causing you to be ill. So if you want to have a really sophisticated kind of missile targeting system within your immune system, take your vitamins. And Purely Pack would be another one that's, if you're not sure what to take at all and you don't know where you need to start, that's everything in a nutshell. So that's daily packets, all the vitamins, all your essential fatty acids, antioxidants in one convenient daily packet, all from food.
That's
And
is that the Purely Pack you said, Steve?
Purely Pack, and it comes in a 30-day size and a 14-day size. And a lot of people, we go there even if you're already sick. because maybe you got sick. Now we're talking about, okay, this is not proactive. This
Right.
is I'm reactive because I'm sick and I don't want to stay sick. I got to beat this thing. I got to get back to work. So it's really the same thing, except for now you up the amount, you up the ante because now you need more than just 2 drops of oregano. You need something like 10 to 20 drops of oregano 3 times a day to get
Right.
started. And maybe the super strength oregano, which is 3 times the potency. You maybe need that 120 count size because you're going to be taking it for a while. Um, and then you need your purely pack. You need to take that every day. So if you're doing that, you're going to recover, you know, a lot faster. In some cases, like 10 times faster, because you're giving your body what it's been missing all this time.
Sure.
And then, yes, sir.
Yeah, and we'll do a recap before we're done in about 15 minutes. We'll do a recap of everything we've mentioned, covered here today, because we carry it all here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. Our products aren't up online yet on the store. You can also call us. We can ship nationwide. Give us a call at 602-252-6000. Again, that's 602-252-6000. You can even go to oregonol.com, NorthAmericanHerbandSpice.com. Those are 2 different ways to get to their website, where you can also place an order that way. Is that right, Stephen?
Yeah, you sure can.
Perfect. And that's oregano, like oregano, and add an L at the end, oregonol.com, or NorthAmericanHerbandSpice.com. And you can find the Purely pack on there with the Purely C, the Purely Zinc. I like that Purely family a lot.
Yeah, we're looking at maybe making it its own website in the
Oh,
future, branching off because we have the Purely liver now that's out,
yeah.
and that's new in your store as well, and that's a lot of vitamins in there too, vitamin A as well for the immune support. So that's kind of a big deal because 90+% of the vitamins out there are still they've been this way for decades. They're still synthetically based. And this is kind of a problem for efficiency of absorption.
What do
Um,
you mean? Can you clarify? I want to really drive this point home. When you say they're
yeah,
synthetically made, how is that different from, let's say, a Purely liver product? Tell us. That's important.
vitamin C is a prime example. What's the difference? It's major, right? So we all know how real vitamin C is made, so I won't spend a lot of time on that. You've got to have soil, sun, water, nature, that type of thing, right? And then you got this beautiful berry with rich in vitamin C, and it's living vitamin C, I would say. The synthetic vitamin C is what I would call dead vitamin C, if you want to call it that. And it's actually most commonly it's made from a chemical reaction. You can look this up. It's between cornstarch, which is often GMO. So that's the first they started wrong right there. And then sulfuric acid. And what's weird is, there's not much vitamin C in cornstarch, if any, or sulfuric acid. And somehow when you do a reaction between these two, you get this ascorbic acid, which is really just part of the vitamin C complex that you find in nature. So they're trying to replicate this thing. They're trying to replicate what nature is doing in a very cheap, affordable way, using a lab and some chemical reactions. And this is most often produced in China. Is a big one. So you've got that. It's very cheap to produce, and it carries a good profit margin for any company that's selling it. And it just doesn't feed your body the same way. In fact, you're missing some of the nutrients from the vitamin C complex. In fact, so like our Purely C, for example, actually has the cofactors that you need, like copper, which often goes with the vitamin C and helps with that energy picture. Also like quercetin, which I'm sure, this is kind of like a trending topic. Quercetin by itself is being sold as a supplement for immune support. You get that in a real vitamin C, most especially from berries. But if you
Wow.
look at it under a microscope, for me, that was like, okay, this is the end all be all of the argument right here. And we show people in our trainings. I don't have the picture with me, but if you look under an electron microscope and you look at the synthetic ascorbic acid, it looks like a piece of mold, in my opinion. It's dead.
Oh
It's
my
like
gosh.
purplish black. Just doesn't look very appealing. You look
Right.
at real vitamin C under a microscope, it looks like a mini sun. It's bursting with energy. You could just see that it's alive. And so this is what you get. You kind of are what you eat.
Right. And so a product like Purely C would have whole food sources of vitamin C.
That's right. Always, any of our vitamins, it's always going to be from whole source. Same thing with the minerals, because we believe that's how your body performs best on that type of fuel. So we don't want to cut corners to make a little extra profit.
Right.
And, we want to give
Um,
you what your body needs.
and this is a perfect segue. I'm going to share this. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see my screen here, Stephen?
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. And obviously, those of you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc., Anchor, you won't be able to see this, but we're going to also kind of talk about it as we go. You can see this one right here. U.S. teen birth rate has fallen dramatically. This is a good segue because this is related to vitamin C. You can see the trend in birth rate, Stephen, in
Mm.
teens. Births per 1,000 females aged 15 to 19, how dramatically it's dropped. Okay, and that's just teens, but you can even just see in general total fertility rates in the United States from 1800 to 2020. Look at this sharp fall here in the
Oh,
last
goodness.
220 years. It's like, if you can really describe this in audio, it's like a 45-degree angle going down. So obviously vitamin C plays a role in this. Not only that, but I know you wanted to cover this topic today, fertility. It's a real
Yeah.
issue. This is a big deal. So tell us, what are your thoughts on this, and where can products like the Royal Family come in, Stephen? Royal Jelly, not
Yeah.
the actual royal family like the, in England, but the Royal supplement line. Tell us about it and fertility.
Yeah, and just to backtrack, you need your nourishment. If you are trying to, get pregnant and start a family and things like that, you can't just eat like garbage and, not give yourself the nutrients, the real ones that you need. Vitamin E is a big one for that, by the way, with the C, right? They used to not know anything about the vitamin E except for that it helped with reproduction. Now they know it helps with the heart and some other things. Okay, so royal jelly. Some of you may have heard of it, maybe half of you haven't heard of it. It's called broil because it's an exclusive food that bees make, but they're very disciplined. They don't touch it. It's only reserved for the queen or for a larvae that will become a queen, except for the first couple of days, all the larvae gets it. And then after that, they cut them off. Only the queen can have it. Consequently, the queen has a very developed reproductive system that is unlike anything you're going to find in the bee kingdom. She's much bigger in size. She can lay thousands of eggs per day, and she lives 40 times longer. So there's a longevity factor than the worker bees. So she can outlive 40 times any of these worker bees, multiple generations that she's able to see. And the only difference is her food intake, which is this royal jelly. Now, this royal jelly's solution has been studied and analyzed, and it's full of all these B vitamins and natural steroids and hormone precursors that really help us. And so now, going into the human benefit side, it's very much the same. They've studied royal jelly and it's come up with benefits for the skin, benefits for energy. It's got those B vitamins, so it helps metabolism, but it also helps with longevity. They've shown that it can help you live longer, just like the queen bee. And then in terms of fertility, remember that highly sophisticated reproductive system that the queen enjoys, it can also help you. And there's a study out of Iran, and what I like about this, Dr. Dehan, is it's a human clinical trial. And in this study, they feed different groups honey and royal jelly together. And they start with very low amount, 25 milligrams, all the way up to like 100 milligrams
Mm-hmm.
every day for about 90 days. And all of these people that they're doing it with are men, and they're
Wow.
all infertile. And so they have clinical infertility, which means you've tried for a year and you still can't. And they eliminated the women out of it as being suspects for the infertility. So it was coming from the men's
Wow.
side. So this is issues with the sperm. One of the factors is motility of sperm. It's not
Mm-hmm.
moving and grooving like it used to back in the 60s and the 50s anymore.
Right.
And that's our environment and things like that, hormone disruptors and what have you. But what they found was amazing because they found that in many of the cases, it helped the infertility issue. They were able to conceive Not every single one, but about half or more they were able to have conception. And more than that, after the 90 days, they discovered another side effect, which is their testosterone increased by an average 22%.
Unbelievable.
And we're always looking for like low T solutions, and we're always looking at all these highly synthesized chemical compounds that really people are not really getting
A
the
hundred
kind of
percent.
results. Yeah, no one's really getting those results. But here we have a study from a natural substance, which has shown an average 22% increase in royal jelly. And I've worked with men who have impotence, who have issues with the libido department, and there's a lot of them. And it's happening at younger ages, but definitely over 40. And Dr. Ingram always told me, because I'd ask him, like, what do we do here?
Yeah.
Especially in the early years. And he's like, royal jelly, royal jelly. And we didn't have this study, but they would come back and say, "Oh my goodness, this stuff is working." They would literally come back to our office and tell us they had to, and they were so excited about it. So if you're listening out there, you're struggling with anything like this, and you haven't tried royal jelly, we have capsules, which is called royal jelly, royal power.
Okay.
And so if you don't want to taste it, you're a capsule type of person. If you're struggling with any of these issues, don't be shy. I would take, like 3 capsules twice a day. Um, and then, or you could just take like 2 to 3 capsules a day if it's just kind of like, well, I just wanted to support myself. And then the royal oil, that's the one I take. That's the one I like. That has, that's like a pudding almost. And you do a half a teaspoon twice a day of that. It's mixed in with some carob molasses and some Austrian pumpkin seed oil. So it's got a nice
Wow.
taste to it. The
Mm-hmm.
pumpkin seed oil helps the prostate function as well. And you feel it. This is another one too. If you take, especially if you take a teaspoon at a time, I take it sometimes before playing basketball, and I do feel energy from it.
Wow.
So yeah, if you don't know about this is kind of a hidden gem that you can start incorporating.
Speaking of Dr. Cass Ingram, we have Stan the Demo Man in house, everybody. This is the first time Stan the Demo Man is being mentioned on the Healthy Habit podcast. And I mention him because he's given away books authored by Dr. Ingram for a purchase of any 2 products from North American Herb and Spice that we're discussing here with Steven. Let's say you buy the Royal Oil and the Purely Pack. Boom, Stan will hook it up with a book by the late, great Dr. Cass, who we lost about 6 months ago. Unbelievable. One of the saddest things ever. We're gonna have to do a show one time just kind of in memory of Dr. Cass, Stephen.
I would love that.
That would be, I think it's well deserved, right?
Yes.
So Stan has samples, coupons, and literature right here at the front booth. Right when you enter the store, just make a right and you'll meet Stan the Demo Man, and he's here on Fridays and Saturdays. Really, actually Tuesday through Saturday, but Friday and Saturday are our later days here at 9 to 6 p.m. here at Healthy Habit Health Foods. Stephen, we have about, let's say, 2 minutes to go here. We can talk about this forever. That fertility is such an important topic. Many people are struggling to get pregnant now, and it's really sad how that's declined. And I like North American a lot, North American Urban Spice, because of the types of animal products you guys incorporate into your lines. It's not just the muscle meats, like a ribeye steak, or ground beef, or the typical bacon, eggs, and whatnot. You're using purely liver and Austrian pumpkin seed. Well, I guess that's not an animal product, but like the royal family with certain, it's not just honey, right? You're incorporating these unique animal products.
Yeah.
And maybe give some thoughts on that, and we'll wrap it up here with about a minute to go.
Sure, I'd love to close on that. So, contrary to popular belief, there are some superfoods out there which are actually from animals.
Right.
So the animals, we got to give them credit because they provide for us. And, the beef liver is a great example because you will not find this combination of nutrients anywhere. And these are highly absorbable forms. So you're talking about iron, heme iron is what 90% the body requires. And you get that only from the animal sources. Beef liver, of course, not a muscle meat.
Right.
It's the Eastern medicine folks, they understand this, and they make use of the heart and the liver and some other things. So we're talking about within the beef liver. I'm just going to rattle off some of these nutrients that are incredible. All right. And you're just taking one capsule and you're getting everything from this. Real active vitamin A, which, by the way, vitamin A by itself fights infection. It supports the immune system. It's all over the literature. But you need the active form, which is called retinol. You only get that from an animal source like the sockeye salmon we carry in the Polar Power, or the beef liver known as purely liver. That's just vitamin A, over 100%. Vitamin B12. Anyone struggling with energy right now? Processing speed, memory, reaction time, mental energy, and B12, 330% per serving inside of the New Zealand beef liver. And of course, you always want it to be grass-fed and pasture-raised, which is what we offer. But it has the other B vitamins too. B6, which you need to make the neurotransmitters in your brain, like serotonin and dopamine. It even has a little bit of B1, B2, B3. So you've got all the Bs being taken together, which is always how it should be.
Right.
You never want to just take one at a time. And then it's even got something called choline, which is a huge support to the brain function and to your memory. And so if you want to just get this like nootropic type of effect, take the beef liver. And of course, it supports the liver because it provides all the nutrients that the liver needs. And there's so many more. It has all 9 out of 9 essential amino acids, and it's only missing 2 of the non-essential. So it's got like 20 something amino acids, which you need to build protein, which builds muscle.
Wow.
So all the old bodybuilders back in the day, before the steroids, they took beef liver, they would eat stuff, but you don't have to eat it. It's in its raw form. It's got all the nutrients inside, because when you cook it, you lose some. You don't have to taste it. For those people that grew up with liver and onions, you don't have to do that. Just freeze dried in a capsule. It's a chlorophyll capsule with some P73 oregano, so it stays fresh.
Right.
And we love it. I think it could help a lot of people with their energy, with their liver. It's even got some CoQ10 for the heart in there as well.
And the skin benefits. I mean, look at this man's skin, everybody. We're going to get comments here like, what is this guy's skin routine? You're glowing here, Stephen.
Oh, thank you.
And maybe in February when you come to town, we can maybe do a live show. We'll see. But this is the first of our series here with Stephen Harkins and North American Urban Spice. You guys will be seeing him at least once a month here on the podcast. So what a great first episode. Stephen, thank you so much for being willing to continue here with us on the show as we transitioned here to podcast.
It's my pleasure. It's always a fun time with you. And I hope that everyone found this to be informative and useful. They can apply it today.
Absolutely. And everybody, be on the lookout for this show to be uploaded on YouTube and Spotify and all the podcast channels. Thank you, Stephen, and to the whole team there at North American.
Thank you. God bless.